how do you plan to have more fans involved in this community to grow the sport of soccer, but the team as well?
I mean, I think it's a really important question. Houston is a huge city, and I think it's really important that the team becomes more part of the community, and that we can get out there in the community and have a relationship with the fans. Obviously, at the end of the day, the one thing that the fans always want to see the most is wins. Right? So we have to do that. That's the most important thing. No matter what else we do, we have to be successful on the field, so we know that. But we also have to help the community come together and bring people into this game.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
What's kind of gone into these first couple of weeks? What are your days filled with? What are the top priorities for you, as you start to hit the ground running here?
Yeah, so at this point, obviously getting to know a little bit of the details on the specifics of each player of the team. Obviously, I know all the players. I watch them. I watch all the games like I always do. And I know these players a little bit better, but just finding, all the contract situations, who goes where, who's staying for how long, those are all the little details that, that I don't know. Also for someone who hasn't been on the day in and day out of MLS, there's a lot of rules, sort of to learn. And so for me, it's been a great transition because I've been able to do a lot of work over the last couple of weeks.
Before we get too much into the team right now, I want to kind of back up and just kind of talk us through the process when you're in conversations with Matt Jordan, with John Walker, with Gabriel Brenner about this position. What was it about the Dynamo and about Houston that kind of stood out to you and made this look like an appealing opportunity for you?
Well, first, what attracted me to come here, to be totally honest, was the team. I think that there's already a nucleus of players here that have a lot of quality, and the type of players that I like to coach. Because they're all players who like to have the ball. They're all players who seem comfortable on the ball, and all players that I think feel very comfortable attacking. And so that already was, I think, was a match for me. And then when I met with John and I met with Matt. And I met with Gabriel Brenner, the owner, and I think that we just hit it off. It was one of those meetings. It was about 4 hours long, 5 hours long, but it was I think just our conversation. It seemed like we were a match. So I was very happy about that. I actually left the meeting thinking, wow, I think it would be really nice to work with everyone.
You talked a little bit about getting to know the team and getting to know contract statuses and things like that. Obviously, big news of the week so far has been the trade for Darwin Quintero. First big signing or big move since you came on board. You went on record with our website and said that he was the one player you really wanted to get when you first started. What was it about him that jumped out to you that made you want to go after him?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I saw towards the end of the year was, there was some difficulty between him maybe in Minnesota because he didn't play the last game, and I thought, wow, how great would it be if somehow he doesn't go back to Minnesota, right? So right away when I came in, we discussed that a little bit here, and I thought, wow, he's been, when you look at his stats, he's been involved in about, between 30 and 40% of all the Minnesota goals over the last 2 years. I mean, he's a player that has been delivering for, when he played at Santos and when he played in America, and then he went to Minnesota and he did the same. So he has a consistency of delivering and making plays on the attacking third, and that's something that's really difficult to get. So when the opportunity came along and we asked about him, and the window was open a little bit, then I wanted to make sure that we try to jump all over that.
You've talked a lot about wanting to play a really aggressive attacking style and be on the front foot. How do you see him, fitting into the way you want to approach building the team?
Yeah, I think Darwin will be a really important piece. I think one of the things you can do when you sign such good players is pass on the whole responsibility to one player. So of course Darwin will be a key to everything we do, but it's up to everybody to do their job, and it's up to everybody to also make plays when he doesn't make plays. Because if you rely on only one player, then it really becomes difficult to win games. So we like where he fits in. We think that he's going to win a lot of games for us, but everyone else has to do their part also.
You talk about fitting in and having everybody being able to do their job, having multiple pieces. Obviously, the front line for the Dynamo as it stands right now with Mauro Manotas, with Alberto Leeds, guys like that. How do you see them all kind of fitting together, and does that just almost kind of give you an embarrassment of riches up there with so much talent to work with?
I mean, I think, personally, I think that good players always fit together. So it doesn't, that doesn't really matter. I mean, one thing I can tell you, and this is sort of the way I've been coaching all along, is the players who are creative, you can't tell them how to play. You can only put them in positions where they're going to benefit from being in certain positions. But the football that happens, that comes out of those guys, I can't coach that. That happens on their own, and so I'm personally excited to see that happen.
Just kind of describe your coaching style. You talked to me about wanting the players to be happy, to feel confident, to be able to be creative like that. But how do you bring that out of the players on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, I think it's really important always for the players to be happy outside of everything that has to do with actually stepping on the field and making plays. And so we're trying to create, and I don't want to say create because maybe that's, that wouldn't be giving credit to everything that's already been done here, because I think this is a great club and a lot has been accomplished already. But I wanted to create a culture of sort of being inclusive of everybody at the club. And I think we're doing that already. I think it's noticeable at the offices and in the training facility already how we want our team to be a family, and we want the players to feel loved by the club. And I think when that happens and you get that accomplished, it's easy for the players to go on the field and do their job.
One of the other things that I think you made a point about bringing up is the need to help the players build a connection with the community. Obviously, you, as you mentioned, being the first player ever signed in MLS, your entire career has been spent building the game, and growing the game, and selling soccer in America. How important is that, from your perspective, to build those relationships, not just performing on the field, but to really create those kind of connections to help grow the game?
I mean, it's incredibly important. I feel like, to a certain extent, I've been selling the game since I started to play it, because obviously we're not the most popular sport in the country. There's no secret behind that. And when John Walker, the president, and I had a conversation about this, and he said how important it was to him. For me, I told him that I would support 100%, and I think the players have to as well. I mean, we have to be part of the community, and our players have to get out there in the community because it's part of what we have to do.
MLS and Liga MX have started to work together a lot more in the last couple of years, and created opportunities. Dynamo played both Tigres and America last year. What kind of opportunity does that give, from a sporting standpoint, to engage those fans that have grown up with Liga MX, and as now the head coach of the Dynamo, to, when you have those opportunities, to kind of take advantage of it on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that's really interesting is where MLS is headed and where Liga MX is headed. As you can see over the years, they're working closer and closer together. I think maybe down the road, 4 or 5 years, when if we're going to look into the future a little bit, maybe there will be a lot more of those leagues being together and maybe even competing against each other on a regular basis. We already have the cup that's both countries together. So I think this is one thing that's really important, is that Houston sits in a place that is almost, it's right next to a lot of big teams in Mexico too, and it's an important position to continue to build that bridge with Liga MX, which I think will be really important to the fans.